Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to turn your 9 to 5 salary into a funded trading account in 90 days or less. And by the way, the best part is you're not going to need to quit your job. You're not going to need to gamble your paycheck. You're not going to need to do any of the crazy stuff that people probably tell you to do to make money with trading, because honestly, it's not actually needed. Because I'll be telling you a very simple strategy that I use to go from, as you can see right here, very, very broke, very, very poor, to now a very successful 21-year-old full-time trader. So let's go. Now, before I get into the video, I want all of you to understand one very important thing. Your 9 to 5 is not as bad as you might think it is, okay? As long as you're using your money from your 9 to 5 effectively and you're not wasting it on silly stuff like going out with your friends, drinking and clubbing and all of this rubbish, right? As long as you're actually using it and investing into the right things, for example, prop firm accounts, challenges, etc., your 9 to 5 can actually be a tool to become successful. So guys, I want to take you back to the start of my trading journey, okay? As you can see right here, I actually started trading 4 years ago. Now that is quite a long time, but the reason I started trading 4 years ago and the reason why it took me, I guess you can say, a long time to see results is because I was basically copying signals and doing loads of stuff wrong, and I was never going to see results that way. It was only when I actually started taking trading seriously and invested in a mentorship that I was able to become profitable. And as you can see from the top line right here, in my first year of profitability, I was able to go from 0 to 500k funding, move out to Thailand, travel the world, and I literally went from losing thousands of dollars to making over 30k a month, traveling literally anywhere I want to, and honestly living my dream life. Now, there's going to be two types of people watching this video. Either you have a 9 to 5 and you don't have access to a phone or your computer while you're working. So for example, you know, your boss is going to shout at you if you go on your phone or your computer. And if that's the case, then that is situation number one. Or situation number two is you do have access to your phone or your computer. Maybe you work in an office and you are allowed to go on your phone or your computer, okay? And we're going to go into detail on how you can make both of these situations work. Now, I was in situation number one, okay? As you can see right here, being a waiter, it's not that easy to just go on your phone or your computer and start trading, okay? But this is what I would do if I was you. Now, the first thing I recommend every single person working in 9 to 5 does is do some backtesting, okay? Backtesting is essentially, as you can see right here, and by the way, guys, I'll give you free access to this backtesting template in the description if you want it. So just check out the description. But essentially, backtesting is just going through loads of previous chart data, tracking it and seeing your win rate over a long period of time and seeing what works better than certain things. So for example, right here, this is an example, right? A long position after supervision low from a demand zone and a 1 minute change of character, and then you either say if you won or lost, right? You do that over a long period of time, filling out the entire spreadsheet, and eventually you're going to see if the strategy works for you, your results, your win rate, everything. You're going to track it, and that way you're going to know when you go into a demo account if it's actually going to work for you and the best time to take the trade. Essentially, backtesting tells you exactly what you need to do for your strategy. Now, as you can see right here from point number one, right, backtesting is very, very important, and you want to make sure that you do this before you go to work. And by the way, if you think you don't have the time, make the time, because I guarantee you do. Wake up an hour earlier, right? Shift some things around in your schedule. Do something, bro, to make the time, because at the end of the day, this is your life we're talking about. This isn't mine. I've made it. I'm a full-time trader. This is your life, okay? And if you can't make the time, then you're not going to make it. So the first thing you need to do is do your backtesting in the morning, right? Get the hard stuff done in the morning. Get the boring stuff done. And then that is going to help you so much in the future because you've now done the backtesting and you're now on track to become a successful trader. Now, bullet point number two is you want to do some studying in the evening, okay? So if you're learning from a course, do some studying, make some notes. Also, you want to journal your trades as well that you've taken throughout the day. Journal the wins, journal the losses, journal the missed trades, and basically track everything that you possibly can, okay? The more you track, the more you're going to see success. And at the start, it may not be that obvious because you're not actually seeing that success because you're not trading on a live account. However, a few months down the line, when you have all of your backtesting spreadsheet filled out and you've actually tracked your data, I guarantee it's going to pay off, okay? And as you can see right here, I basically said, repeat this for months, right? For months, for months, for months. Do not quit, right? Backtesting and all of this stuff here is going to be a long process. It's not going to be easy. And you need to repeat it for a long time so that you can actually see some results in the long run. Now, the end goal for those of you who are working in 9 to 5 but don't have access to a phone or computer is basically to save up enough money so that you can eventually take a little bit of time off work, right? I'm not saying quit your job, but I'm saying have a nice buffer so that you can actually start to practice on the demo account once you've done your backtesting, once you understand your win rate, once you see success on your backtesting, right? Have some time off work and actually start to practice what you've been learning. Because by now you should have an amazing understanding of your strategy and you should have confidence in yourself from your backtesting so that when you go to a demo account and you open a demo account here, you should have, in theory, some profitability because you've now done the backtesting. And if you haven't done the backtesting properly, then that is probably going to be an issue, which is why the backtesting is so important in the first place, okay? So that once it's done, and once you've saved up some good money, then you can have a bit of time off work and then, like I said, open up a demo account. Now, I'm gonna go into a bit more detail on everything right here because I'm sure a lot of you are probably thinking, it's not as easy as just taking time off work, blah, 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 because if I take time off work, I'm gonna get fired from my job and then I'm gonna have to find a new job and that's gonna be hard to do and I'm gonna make less money. Well, bro, that is the reality of life, okay? And as you can see right here, you need to take a risk and believe in yourself to see success, okay? Taking time off work, yes, you might potentially be fired. Yes, you might potentially lose that job. But guess what, bro? There's not a lack of jobs. There's jobs everywhere and you can find a new job, okay? You need to actually ask yourself and sit down after this video and ask yourself, what is your priority, okay? Because my priority was not this shitty job, okay? And I can tell you for a fact, I didn't care at all if I got fired from this job. And most of you probably don't either. And if you do, then you don't care enough about seeing success in trading because your job is a tool to make money to escape, right? Your job is not there forever. So to go and take time off work with the potential of getting fired, bro, who cares? Because you didn't want to be in that job anyway, okay? And it's a risk that you have to take. You need to understand that nobody is coming to save you, okay? And you need more time so that you can actually make money in trading. Because the harsh reality of this, guys, is if you don't have access to a phone or computer and you're working from 9 to 5, you're missing London session and you're missing New York session, and it's going to be near impossible for you to, I mean, it will be impossible for you to trade because you don't have access to a phone or computer. So you can't trade, okay? And you have to make some sacrifices. And that is literally what you need to do. So that sort of leaves us with 3 different options to choose from, okay? Option number 1 is you're going to quit your 9 to 5 job after you've seen some very good results from your backtesting. You're really confident and you know that you have a good trading ability and you really understand what you need to be looking for every single day, right? Maybe taking the risk and quitting your job actually is beneficial, okay? If you've saved up enough money and you have a buffer, quit your job, give trading a go. Because like I said before, you need to believe in yourself. And if that means quitting your job, and I mean if, right? In some situations, it's not recommended. But if you're in a situation where, let's say you've got a couple thousand saved up, maybe 10,000 from your job, and you know you don't want to be in that job, take the risk, quit that job, start trading for a few months because you have that buffer saved up and see if you can make it work. And if not, worst case scenario, you go back to that job or you find a new job and you repeat the process until you make it work. Now, option number 2 right here is going to be the hybrid model, okay? And this is basically when you work less hours and you focus on working the hours that don't interfere with trading sessions. So for example, London session, right, is 8 a.m. to 12 or basically the afternoon, okay? So take those hours off and work later shifts. Simple fix, right? And that's exactly what I did. When I was working here at this shitty job, I was originally working morning shifts. And then I thought, you know what? Let's stop being stupid and move to evening shifts. And yes, the evening shifts were way worse. Evening shifts are busy. Evening shifts are hell. Evening shifts, when you're a waiter in a busy restaurant, are terrible. However, right, this allowed me to trade, which is the purpose of my life. That is why I'm learning. That is why I'm doing everything. So I had to make a sacrifice, right? And that sacrifice was working later shifts so that I could focus on London session, and that is what helped me massively. So those 2 options right there are basically what you can do if you are working 9 to 5 and you don't have access to your phone, okay? Now, option number 3, I'm gonna get onto in a second, But the first thing that I want to do is cover quickly how I would go about trading in my 9 to 5 if I had access to a phone or computer. Because if you do have access to your phone or computer, then you're in a very good situation because you can make trading work pretty damn easily. Now, if this is you and you do have access to a phone or even better, a computer, so that you can actually open the charts and literally analyze price and watch it move, then you want to be trading London session or New York session every single day and watch price move. And also, if we go back to over here, right, journal the trades that you're taking when you take them live. So for example, if you're taking a trade at your job, journal that trade and learn from your mistakes and your losses and your wins and everything, right? And you can do this because you're actually trading live, because you have access to a phone or computer. So this means the process of practicing trading is way easier because you can now actually journal your daily trades. Whereas if you don't have a phone or computer, you obviously can't really trade, so you can't really journal, okay? So you're at a massive advantage here because you can now journal and learn from your mistakes so much quicker. Also, I really do recommend as well that you want to follow one strategy and do not deviate from that strategy, okay? The best thing to do, and what I do right now and what I've been doing for the last 2 years, is trade one strategy, because one strategy means you focus less on other rubbish stuff. For example, there's so many strategies out there that are gonna confuse you. And if you're trying to trade loads of different things, then you're gonna mess up and you're not gonna really see success ever because you're not a master of one strategy, you're a master of nothing, essentially, right? So learn one strategy and every single day, watch how price moves for that strategy, right? And of course, trade this on a demo account to begin with. Don't go in for a live account or a funded account or anything like that. Start doing a demo account and start to practice and basically do that while you're working your job. Now, if you are in this situation right here and you are busy at a certain point during your work and you can't necessarily be on your phone or computer, what you can do is you can set alerts on your phone and set limit orders so that when price comes into your area, you're notified. Go on your phone quickly, go to the toilet quickly on your phone and enter the trade, right? Or set limit orders as I said right here, and it will automatically enter you into the trade without needing to even be on your phone, okay? So that is what I would do as well. If you are, for example, busy, set an alert and just wait for price to come to that area. And when it comes to it, then you can go on your phone quickly and take the trade. And this basically leads us onto option number 3 over here, which is to basically use, like I said, buy and sell limits to automatically enter you into your trades when price comes into the POI, right? However, there are cons of this, okay? One of the cons is it's quite hard to manage the trade yourself. And because you're not actively on the charts, entering manually, you can result in taking more losses than necessary because you're not actually monitoring the trade, and the limit will just enter you into the trade even if the trade doesn't look good because you've set the limit there, right? But at least the pros are, it gives you the ability to work around your job. And if you are busy, if you're busy at work, then at least you're in the trade, right? And there is a good chance that it might win. Of course, it might lose, that is trading, but it also might win. And you can also, like I said here, try and be sneaky and just enter manually once your trading view alert goes off on your phone. And that's also another thing that I would do at my job. When I was working here, if my phone alerts went off, I would quickly pull out my phone, manually enter the trade, and hope the boss didn't see. Okay, so if I had a £2,000 salary, this is what I would do, right? I would save at least, if I could, £1,000 a month for a challenge account, right? Maybe a 200K, maybe 2 100Ks, maybe 4 or 5 50Ks, right? Basically just saving as much as I could, okay? That's option number 1. But obviously, I do understand a lot of you have living expenses, you've got family, you know, you've got kids to look after, and for you on your £2,000 salary, it's very, very difficult to obviously make it work, and especially save £1,000 for your challenges, okay? So this one right here is more focused, honestly, at those guys who are maybe in their 20s and they can live with their mom, they don't need to pay for rent, they don't need to have much expenses, and if that is the case for you, bro, you honestly have no excuse, because just like I was doing when I was working a job, I just saved everything because I was living with my mom and had no expenses, literally, and I just saved everything I had and bought challenge accounts. So this is all for option number 1. If you have, you know, no real expenses, then just save it, right? Obviously, you've got some expenses, so I put £500 for living expenses and £500 for an emergency buffer if you want. But realistically, if you're living at home with your family, you can save 90% of the money that you make. Now, option number 2 right here is to just try and save, I'd say, maybe even £200 to £500 a month for challenges, right? This doesn't need to be crazy, but over a small amount of time, if you're putting money away for challenges, eventually you'll have a good amount of money saved up, a few thousand maybe, so that you can actually start to invest into challenges, because you are going to need to invest money to challenges, right? There's no way to get free challenges. You just need to put the money in, right? Actually, taking that back, if you're in my Discord and my private community, I do loads of giveaways, so you can get free challenges. But yeah, for the most part, you need to save up money to pay for challenges. So you are going to need to save some money, right? If you've got living expenses, that's fine. Put £1,000 towards that. If you think your living expenses are more than £1,000, then they definitely can be. But I would say probably try and reduce them, If you're living in a decent apartment, bro, downsize it. Pay less. It's sacrifices that you have to make so that you can save more to invest into the right things, right? Showing off your Mercedes is all cool, but if you're not making any money from trading, nobody cares, because that Mercedes isn't going to be a good investment in the long term, because that money that you put into your nice car is going nowhere. Whereas if you sell that nice car and reduce your living expenses, for example, then you now have more money for challenges. And if you don't have a nice car, and if you don't have a nice apartment, and if you can't save up any money, then that is a different situation. If you literally can't save up any money, which I really doubt is the case, then you are going to need to keep working your job or find a new job that pays you more and try save some money from that. Because I'm not going to be some guy to sugarcoat this and say that you can magically make money from trading if you have no money to begin with, because that's not the case. You have to have money to invest into trading accounts. So if that is your case, and if you literally think you can't save any money, then find a new job, or unfortunately, bro, maybe trading is not for you, okay? Now, the strategy that I use, let's go over this a little bit, because the strategy is very, very important. And it's actually the strategy that I use that allow me to be able to trade during my job. And the reason I say this is because if I was trading any other strategy, then I wouldn't be able to trade at my job. Okay, my strategy is a very strict strategy during a certain time period in London session, so that there's only a certain time where I can ever trade. So that allows me to know when I'm at work, okay, now I trade and now I don't, which eliminates any possibility of having any issues at work, because now I can tell my boss, yo, I'm trading, leave me alone. Let me have a break now. Let me have a break at this time, because that's when my window of trading comes around, okay? And before we get into the strategy, right, which by the way, literally yesterday, I took this trade and it made me $5,000, as you can see right here, okay? It was an EU long from a demand zone, very nice wick projections right there, entry there, target those highs up there, and there were some highs to the left, basically. And yeah, I mean, great strategy. And by the way, guys, this strategy has literally worked for countless other people, right? Funded accounts there. Like I said at the start, Clev has gone from 0 to 500K. Funded account. These are just a few examples. I'm not going to go over it, but honestly, this strategy has changed lives. You can read these testimonials, and you can actually go onto my website, which will be linked down below in the description, and read all of the other reviews and watch all of the other video testimonials that some of my students have made. And you will see that this strategy does work, and it has changed people's lives. Now, I'm not necessarily saying you need to learn the strategy, but I'm saying this strategy, in my case, worked amazingly to quit my job. And it has worked for loads of other people as well. So I really do honestly recommend learning this strategy if you are trying to do what I did. Now, let me break down this trade really quickly for you guys, just so you understand why I took it and why I trade the way I do. But essentially, this trade right here, it was a sweep of the Asia low. So this box right here is the Asia session, okay? The session before London session. We swept Asia lows. We came into a hourly demand zone down here, tapped into it, had a very nice reaction from there on the 15-minute. And that was basically our confirmation, as well as the lower time frame confirmations, to go ahead and enter the trade right here. Now, the reason this strategy works so well with a 9 to 5 job is because for the most part, these entries that you're taking happen just before your work actually begins. Let's say that you have a job that starts at 9 a.m., right? This trade right here was taken at around 8:30 a.m. So on your way to work, you could be taking the trade, okay? It's not ideal. Obviously, you'd rather be sat on your laptop, relaxed and ready. But if you are needing to trade on the way to work, this is a great strategy for that, okay? Or, like I said before, if you can go to work and be on your phone, then perfect. You can still take the exact same trade as me because you can be on your phone and take the trade as well. So this strategy works very well because it's at the start of the day. But obviously, like I did say as well before, ideally, you want to have all of the time free in the morning so that you can trade on your laptop at your home without needing to be at work in a stressful environment. So that is why I do recommend as well moving your hours slightly later so that you can trade London session totally without any stress. But if you are, for example, on your way to work, then this does work very well because you most of the time can take the trade before work even begins. And if you can't, like I said, then you can probably just take it on your phone at your job. So yeah. Now, for those of you still watching this video, first of all, well done, because I can tell you're actually serious about making money and you actually want to change your life. And if you do, okay, I have an offer for you. I'm going to break down everything inside of my trading community called Trading Edge Mastery. And essentially, the goal for my community is to help you to get over $10,000 a month, giving you my simple strategy, showing you how to do it every single day on my live trading calls, and basically making you a consistently profitable trader and becoming funded just like all of these guys here are able to do in a very short amount of time. Now, step number one, and the first thing I actually do with anyone inside of my community before I even teach them the strategy is I say to them, you need to get rid of bad habits first and start creating good ones, okay? If you wake up late, if you're not going to the gym, if you're lazy, if you're scrolling social media 24/7, all of that shit needs to go, right? I'm not here to sugarcoat this and say trading's going to be easy, you're going to make money quickly, because that's not really the case, right? And especially it's not the case if you have bad habits. So you have to get rid of them and start making good ones and actually develop the mindset of a successful trader, okay? And that is step number one. Now, step number two is to master the strategy and also master your psychology as well. And I help you do this inside of Trading Edge Mastery in quite a few different ways, right? The first thing I do is I actually give you 2 different strategy courses, a beginner course and an advanced course, and a whole course on psychology. Now, this course on psychology is around 30 videos long, and it basically covers every single issue you could ever have with psychology. So if you have any psychology issues or strategy issues, then you can go back to the videos, watch them, learn from your mistakes, and that is step number one of mastering your strategy and your psychology. I also trade live with my community every single day so that they know exactly what I'm looking for. And live trading is honestly one of the best ways to learn, and that is why my results are so good. Okay, I teach you how to manage risk, master your emotions, don't fall victim to FOMO, and everything basically that you could ever need to become a successful trader, I will help you do. And then step number 3 right here is to eventually become a funded trader. Okay, start with a small account, which by the way, I give you for free. I give you a free 10K challenge account inside of my community. And yeah, start trading on that. Start to get some small wins on that, scale yourself up to bigger accounts, and before you know it, bro, you'll be just like me, making a few thousand every single month from pressing buttons. Now, I've already gone over most of the stuff that's inside, but you also get access to a private WhatsApp group chat with me and also the people inside of the community so that you can actually learn and also learn alongside other people as well. So you're not just left on your own, but you're learning alongside killers also trying to make it as well. So you're going to build some good friendships in there. You're going to really start to develop your life and be around the right sort of people who are also going to motivate you to see success. Now, you also get one-to-one mentorship with me. So any questions you have, any problems you have, feel free to just ask me and I will help you out. And of course, you also get access to my Inner Circle Masterminds. And by the way, the last one I did, I gave away $1 million of challenge accounts. And also one of my members got a trip on a private jet to Paris for completely free. So if you found this useful and if you think this is something you might be interested in, feel free to go to the first link in the description and apply below. And if you are accepted, because we only accept a few people each month, then I look forward to working with you. And I think you are going to see some crazy progress because, to be totally honest, the results have been insane and they're only going to keep getting better. So hopefully I see you inside. Other than that, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, and I'll see you on the next one. Bosh!